Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and in this video we're doing a recap and review of Married at First Sight season 12 episode 13, Unanswered Questions, Vincent and Brianna. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. If you like the video, smash the like button and feel free to drop a comment down below. So without further ado, let's jump into this video. So again, Dr. Pepper and Pastor Cal talked with the couples last night, but we had a particular couple who we actually got a little bit more to see before they met with the experts. And this was Brianna and Vincent. So we saw them originally start off the episode with them trying to make an effort to put a plan together for their future. They're trying to put together a budget for their monthly expenses. However, during the process, Vincent realized that his wife may be a lot more high maintenance than he realized. After seeing almost $10,000 a month spent combined, he's kind of worried that they aren't spending money wisely. But, as we saw, Brianna isn't willing to budge if that means spending more time in the house, because she definitely want to make sure they go out on dates. And, I can see both of their perspectives, but Brianna, Miss Girl, you need to be willing to compromise. I mean, $10,000 is a high amount of money for a newlywed couple who want to eventually buy a house or something and have kids. The thing is, Brianna, if she don't want to decrease her entertainment budget, then maybe she's going to have to forego that $300 on clothes to start. And I know we've seen this in previous seasons. I think last season it was the situation with Woody and Amani, because I think Woody was saying that he spent anywhere from $900 to $1,000 on clothes. I think this is something that, of course, the show have the couples go through every month when it comes to expenses, because definitely this is something that you need to discuss when trying to figure out how to move forward as a couple. Because besides, other factors that could destroy a marriage, money is one of them. And so they need to come to some form of compromise, without going broke. And of course, he's definitely concerned about that. He's an entrepreneur. I know she is an engineer, but at the same time, and she's probably used to spending, quite a bit of money. So they're going to have to figure that out. So now we see how Vincent is now meeting with Pastor Cal, and he's gushing on and on about his relationship with his lovely wife, Brianna. But when asked about some of the challenges, he is very honest. Brianna, he mentioned, has a type A personality and can come off controlling at times. And Vincent was saying how he struggles with pleasing his wife and doing what's best for him personally. So, that's something that they're going to have to figure out. It seemed like a couple of these couples tried to start off kind of thinking like, oh, everything is great. But definitely the experts held them to task to ask about some of their challenges. But that's good that, Vincent was definitely very transparent about what's going on in their relationship and how, she can come off a little bit controlling, and then trying to, please his wife at the same time, but also he wants to look out for himself. And obviously, that's definitely, I could totally understand that. The compromise is definitely going to need to come from both people involved. It can't be one way and the highway with either side of them, So they're going to have to figure that out. And we'll see a little bit more about that toward the end of the episode. So now is Brianna's turn, and she's excited actually to meet with Dr. Pepper. She has a lot of great things also to say about her husband, Vincent, and how he makes her feel. But she does, say that she feels Vincent isn't direct about his feelings. So communication is an issue for her. And she also brought up the whole conversation about how they have different perspectives on, the budgeting in the house. She wants to have fun experiences while Vincent want to focus on saving for the future. And Brianna do admit that she fears also about having children due to her high blood pressure. But Dr. Pepper encouraged her to have an open conversation about these topics so they can get a better understanding of one another. And that's one of the things that she asked her. Have you talked about your husband? Talked about this to your husband? And she was kind of like, no. And especially with the whole thing with having children and her health, that's a conversation that she's definitely going to need to have. Because if he wants kids and she's worried about her health with trying to carry and birth a child, yeah, you need to have that discussion. And of course, they have been talking about the budgeting issue and how, of course, she wants to have fun experiences, but that's the thing. And that kind of was similar to what Olivia was talking about in season 11, because she wanted to spend her money, whereas Brett wanted to save. So this is something that's pretty a commonality between, couples, and especially from what we've seen in, several seasons on this show. But Brianna's going to have to, realize at this point, this is a marriage. If they're going to stay together, she got to have that open communication about these things. And she also need to, and him as well, find some way to compromise when it comes to these things. And, hopefully, I don't see any issues with these two. So after meeting with the experts, Brianna and Vincent, he arrives home and they sit down to discuss their experiences, speaking with the experts. And of course, they were so cute. They greet each other with a kiss. I thought that was sweet. Brianna jumped right into things discussing the money and the budgeting, and Vincent addresses his issue with her expecting him to wake up early on days where he wants to sleep in, which was also at the beginning of the episode. And she didn't kind of want to budge on that. She was like, maybe you ought to go to bed early. And he's looking like, how about you just let me sleep? And that's something you don't want to kind of push the issue, especially when you have a working, if it's overlapping into the relationship, fine. But yeah, that, and I don't blame him, because he was disappointed when she suggested that he go to bed earlier rather than her making a compromise. And we can tell by his facial expression that he was clearly frustrated. But Brianna continued and she moved on. And then she brought up the conversation of her fear of having kids. And, Vincent did admit in his interview with production that he can't picture his life without kids at his deathbed. And so he's alarmed, of course, by Brianna's confession. It seems like, they can work this out, but she is definitely going to have to take into account his needs and compromise at times. And, it would just be, so unfortunate for this relationship that it comes apart because they can't find some form of common ground. Now, I honestly think that they can work through the budgeting things and even the sleep situation with Vincent. One thing that's going to be truly heavy with this, again, Vincent explained how his thoughts is the situation with having children. Because I know he wants kids, but at the same time, I don't think he wants it at the impact of his wife's health. And of course, Brianna's concerned about that because your blood pressure is affected when you're pregnant. For those who have went through, I think it's called preeclampsia. That's when you have that high blood pressure during your pregnancy. And she already has high blood pressure, in her regular everyday life. So there's definitely something that she's concerned about. And who knows, she's probably talked to her doctor who has mentioned the situation as well. So it seems like she's definitely well aware of what her health situation is. So this is something that they definitely are going to have to figure out. And I think in the upcoming episode, there was some conversation about adoption. And I don't think that's something that Vincent is interested in because he wants a biological child. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are on this couple and in this particular episode, because I mean, a couple of things they definitely can work on. Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper definitely gave them some good advice on, compromise and open communication. But what can they do to hash out, the situation on whether they're going to have kids? Because it seemed he sound kind of like Eric, like this might be a deal breaker for him if, kids are off the table, and, the whole thing with Virginia, and she's half and half about kids, and Eric is, I want kids or I'm out. I don't see that with Vincent, but it's definitely something that they need to discuss. So let me know what you guys think. All right, that's going to be the end for this particular video. I'm going to do my post notification shout out. If you want to be shouted out, drop a comment below. I will see you and shout you out. This one goes to Bridget Holman. Thank you for engaging the channel, and thank you for the compliment. I really appreciate it. So until the next video, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you soon.